Hi, show. Good to be with you. We got some news on the soccer stadium real quick here. Tony, you want to just hit us with that?
Yeah, the Board of Aldermen Committee and St. Louis Housing and Urban Development Committee approved the MLS soccer resolution this morning. The resolution for a downtown soccer stadium was approved unanimously 8-0 by a Board of Aldermen committee. The resolution will now go before the full Board of Aldermen on Friday. Another step in the right direction if you are a supporter of the MLS situation.
Scott Jones and Joe Rusch in studio with us right now, who are accomplished officials for high school sports. You guys do soccer?
No.
No. Soccer.
That was like three total words between the two of you, and there was a lot of judgment oozing out of that.
No, but I will say this for soccer refs, and my brother-in-law of mine is an accomplished soccer ref, has done a couple state championships. I don't know how they do it. When you're working a single-man crew on a 110-yard field, they run like crazy.
And you got one guy on the sideline with a flag.
Right.
Like,
who you live and die on what they can do.
Yeah.
I mean, we do a football game with 5-man crew, and
or 7
sometimes
or 8.
sometimes we have trouble covering.
Yeah, you're not joking when you say you have to be in shape to do it.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. Or lacrosse refs or field hockey. I mean, there's a lot.
I'm going to start working swim meets. That's what I'm going to start.
Do you get a chair?
Track starter.
Yeah, exactly. So we got like 6 minutes here, but I wanted to ask you guys, going forward, you've got this stack of papers in front of you. You got stories from Kentucky, from Texas, where these types of instances are happening. What's the answer?
Real quick, Ann, I want you to look at what I'm about to show you.
All right.
This is a list of violent spectator incidences in sports. What's the first date you see on there where this started happening?
1879.
This has been going on since 1879 when people go crazy over sports.
It's a century and a half.
It's fans, it's parents. You see these people get killed over soccer games in Europe and South America. I mean, people, they're fans. Fan is short for what? Fanatic.
Yeah.
And guess what? When that fanaticism leaks into not just the kids, but your parents and everybody involved, if you do not have strict administrative control that puts their foot on the neck of the issue, the second it happens, the next second is too late.
I have 3 children myself. The oldest is 8, though, so I haven't gotten into the highly competitive nature of sports. But I know that being a mom is different than being a fan. There's the mama bear thing that kind of like creeps in. It makes you nuts. I will say it. It makes me nuts. I watched my son do upward basketball and for a game, and I hated myself after that first game. And then I had to read articles and come up with breathing techniques to relax. I didn't think he was 6 at the time.
Is this about your pregnancy?
No,
or
this was just not being an obnoxious parent sitting in the stand. I understand the intuition and the driving force behind watching your kid succeed, not succeed, get taken advantage of if that's how you see it. But we are kind of living in an environment where it's not squashed.
Well, also, here's another thing. We hear about, because of social media, you hear about every single thing that happens.
You hear the bad stuff.
So you get the opinion by, again, and I hate going here, but I'm going to go here. You will look at that Alton thing and the way it's spread like wildfire, you think, oh my God, I'm scared to go to a black basketball game because everything in the world is going to break out. Well, guess what?
Not at all.
It happens in rural Kentucky too at softball games.
Yeah.
Google it. YouTube it. It happens everywhere. It jumps over cultural, racial, socioeconomical boundaries. Joe and I have both done basketball games in the affluent places in town, and guess what? Fans there can be a little bit obnoxious too.
Yeah.
If your child, like you said, the mama bear, daddy bear thing, when that's involved, guess what?
Rich or poor, it don't matter.
Rich or poor, kids can do no wrong. It's the authority figure's fault. And if we can figure out a way to switch that, and kids and parents will take some responsibility for their children, guess what? My kid might be a little bit of a jerk sometimes. I need to deal with him at home.
Yeah.
Then maybe he won't be a jerk on the court.
Yeah, but a big part of that, too, is just the communication between officials and coaches. It starts there because if a coach is belittling you or screaming at you, you have to get that under control. And then if the kids see that, they replicate it. Then if the parents see it, they think, well, the coach, he's the most highest person here, and he's being mean. That's where...
Given permission... license
Right,
to misbehave or disrespect.
Nails.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate you saying that too. You know, Scott, we're on the radio right now. People can't tell you're a black man, and you've
What?
Yeah, Joe is shocked.
I am.
Yes, but I mean, it's your point is very well made. That this is any community at any time. The things that are taking place in these gyms. It's a lot of the parental drive and that lack of responsibility that exists in the institution of how we raise kids, what we expect them to do, and it's a group effort. The officials can't fix these problems.
It's no different than a teacher. If you send a kid to school and the kid's a jerk, teacher cannot redevelop what the kid's getting at home. If you don't get everything, can't be a project for an educator. If you don't give them something to work with, a kid at least knows his address and knows how to tie his shoes and he's behaved. The teacher's behind 8 ball just to start.
Yeah, and I think the key here is that the kids that are on the court, they're still kids. They still have a little more room for error, whereas the responsible adults in the room, in the home, in the classroom, it is on those grown-ups to teach these kids how to become responsible grown-ups. Joe, you'd say this is the Alton experience is not the norm at a basketball game. You both have said not even close.
Not even close. And the thing about with communicating with coaches, I never have a problem with a coach questioning a call. If I'm standing after I've made the call and now I'm standing by the table side, maybe we're getting ready to shoot some free throws, and the coach walks up behind me and goes, Joe, what exactly did you see? I'll be happy to give him my thoughts. If he yells across the floor at me, that's a terrible call. Okay, well, that's two different ways to communicate. He's sharing the same information, but I'm much more open to having a brief, quiet conversation to tell him what I saw. And sometimes an official, and I know this has probably never happened to you, Annie, we make mistakes.
Oh, no.
And sometimes it's the best way to diffuse a situation. Coach, I might have missed that one, or I didn't see it the way you saw it.
Yeah, that's not what I saw. Is usually
and most coaches are just going to nod and walk away because they get it. They know they make mistakes too.
They don't want to watch you think you're perfect.
Right.
And
exactly. And the official that thinks he's perfect is a fool.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're all human. Well, thank you guys both, Scott Jones, Joe Rusch, for coming in here. It's a pleasure to be able to have this conversation. I don't like the tone that is out there right now surrounding what took place between Riverview Gardens and Alton. I don't think it's helpful, but I think not talking about it is worse. So I think being able to have you guys in here to explain what you see on the front lines, it's a valuable thing to do.
And it's like anything else. Everything else that's going on in the world now. If you can't talk about it, then guess what? It just gets worse.
Yeah.
And don't talk politics, race, or religion. That's stupid. Talk about it. And
you guys want to stick around and talk about Donald Trump?
Absolutely. My favorite subject.
And that's the funny thing, because Scotty and I, we share a lot in officiating.
Yeah.
Politically, we're
not so much.
Opposite ends of the spectrum, but when it comes to getting on the black and white stripes, we're exactly on the same page.
I also told Joe he'd be like the only Republican I'd ever vote for something.
Hey, you should run for something, Joe.
He did. He was running for something.
All right. Well, you guys.